Sure. So hi everyone. My name is Kristen Negron. I am a student success manager at the Connecticut Rise Network. If you hear some sounds in the background, my son is sitting right next to me. So we're just hanging out today. But yes, so Rise, Connecticut Rise Network or CT Rise is a nonprofit organization based in New Haven, and we work primarily with high schools. To ensure equitable outcomes for our students. And we do this in two ways. So the first is grade nine on track. We know that grade nine, promoting on time from grade nine to grade 10 is critical and actually makes you four times more likely to graduate high school. So we invest a lot of resources and a lot of time to ensure our schools understand that and build in supports for students through that eighth to ninth grade transition and throughout the entire year. One of those things that we do is my program, which is the student success team. We are partnered with Serve CT, which is the Connecticut branch of AmeriCorps, and we launched On Track Mentors this year, who are working with a caseload of 50 students in two districts across four schools to ensure that those students promote on time from grade 9 to grade 10. And then the second leg of our work is post-secondary access. And so our post-secondary team really works to ensure that students have access to any and all plans that they want after high school, that they are matched, have a well-matched plan by graduation and are completing milestones to complete that plan so that on the first day of whatever that is, whether that be 2 year, 4 year, trade tech, military, apprenticeship, or straight into the workforce, they are ready and able to do such things. So we are actually celebrating 10 years this year. We've got kind of concluded right now our 10th school year, and we're really excited. My program specifically is expanding from six mentors this year to 12 next year. So really excited to get into more schools and support more students throughout next year. Um, I One of the things that we really focus on is continuous improvement, and also student intervention. And so the thing that I'm going to show you today is really on that second leg, which is student intervention. So how are we not only providing opportunities to intervene for students, but also capturing those learnings? And so this has been a bit of a bugaboo for us for a few years, and we have created a couple of different tools. The biggest one being our Rise Data Hub, which is a proprietary tool that links into school student information systems and basically builds a wrapper for that information to allow teams to really see that collective data in exciting and new ways and slice the data in ways that feel meaningful to them. But what we have noticed, especially in grade nine, is that it is extremely consumer based, meaning we look at it, we decide to do things from it. We go and do those things, then we come back and we look at it again, and we see if those things have made an impact, right? But that intervening time of like, what did we do, and how did we do it, and how much of it did we do, has always been a little bit of a challenge for us to see into what our schools are doing. And so, in the age of AI, we have been playing around with a variety of things. And what I'm going to share with you now is a kind of conversation that really started with one of my assistant principals around how do we better identify the supports that we are using with our students and track the progress while also creating opportunities to review said progress. And so I used Gemini to essentially create a small web app that would build essentially a database of those interventions in a way that felt easy to for teams to kind of review and navigate. And so I will share this in the chat once I'm done. But this is essentially the refined prompt that I used to create this web app. So the first piece is really on the data architecture, and this is really the Google Sheet that is created with the tabs for the information that you need, that it is needed to collect. And then the back end specifications are more of that web app piece, right? So first you create the Google Sheet, you create your tabs, initial students, or students, initial conversations and updates. And then you have these kind of back end specifications about what you want the app to actually do for you, and create the kind of interface for the team. So this is kind of like the UI piece of this project. And then we also wanted ways to connect to our regular structures, right? So like one of the things that we know to be true is that a lot of times our teams decide that they want to do something, and then life happens, right? And school kind of continues to happen. Students do things. And so we wanted to build in a reminder structure that didn't feel oppressive, but also was like, hey, by the way, you committed to doing this thing. How can we have you done said thing? And so we built this kind of twofold thing. So first, everyone on the team gets a reminder email or gets an initial email once the intervention plan is created. And then the person responsible for said step gets a reminder email 4 days before the next meeting and 1 day before the next meeting to ensure that they have at least identified what they have done, or if they haven't done something, why they haven't done it. We also built in a feature to in the initial email where you can actually just click the button, a button, and it creates a calendar invite on the day that the intervention is due or your share out is due, so that you can constantly see it on your calendar. Because again, we want to make sure that these things are visible to our teams and is ability and easy to access, right? Because not I guess, because what we struggle with sometimes is really that visibility, right? And then second piece of this, again, this I will share is this use case or how to use and how to create. One of the things that we also have to be very mindful of is data security, right? And we don't ever want to share something that could potentially bleed data from one of our districts to another, because we have data sharing agreements with about, I think, 21 districts at this point. So the way that we designed this was that the coach who had the particular school would work with their administrator to create the initial template sheet, and all you have to do is click on this button and hit use template, and all of the background information is already built for you, and then it walks you step by step through what are the things that you have to update in order to make this work for your team. So again, the information lives with the school and is not housed within our ecosystem unless they want to share it back with us. And you can set these things up and change these things as you need to. Again, all of these instructions are in this document. I will share this at the end of the presentation. And so when you click on this link right here for use template sheet, this is what you will see. And then in this kind of upper right corner, you'll see this button that says use template. And so you'll see the sheets by side. So first you have the student log sheet. Here it's a bunch of dummy data. I actually used like cartoon characters from the 90s and 2000s. Then the email settings. So who is it that you want these emails to go to? And then nothing else has to be added here. So the only column that you're interacting with is actually this email student list or staff email list. And then these are just the titles of each of the emails that will be automatically sent. This is all pre-written in the app script code to generate these emails. So there's nothing that you on the back end have to do other than creating this sheet and dropping in your list of student names. And then your initial conversation. So here you'll see some of the trials that we have done with this system, and you'll see it timestamps it along with their ID, strengths, growth areas, student goal, interventions, when the follow-up date is, whether or not this case is active, what reminders have been set. So some people, you can turn the reminders on and off. So you can set it for the 4 days, for the 1 day, or you can turn them completely off like those down here, and who is assigned to that particular action step and whether or not the reminders are active. And then updates is a very similar thing. So once we come back to that student, what is the update on their the intervention? Have the student made progress? Do they continue to need a follow-up? If they do, we set a new date and a new owner, and they can continue this process until they're ready to be to close essentially that case with that particular student or that particular intervention. And so next up, if this little tab will go up, thank you, is the actual portal. And so here, it's very, very simple. We wanted to make it as easy as possible for teams to kind of interact. So all you would do is click on your initial conversation. You can type in a name or an ID, or you can actually double click and the entire list of students will come up. So today we want to talk about Kim Possible. We hit lookup, and then her first and last name will automatically update here. Here, I can put my email address as a staff responsible. I can say she is connected to school, always going on family trips. Ensure completing work for days missed, and then check in with OTM. And then you'll see here, I can mute my notifications, or I can keep them. And the follow-up date here, automatically, you can just kind of pick whatever day you want to check in on that. And then you click submit form. Then it takes a couple seconds, and it should give you this screen to say that initial conversation has been logged. And you click OK, and you're brought immediately back to this main screen. Next is the student update and dashboard. And so here you'll see any student that is currently either overdue for a check-in or has an upcoming check-in based on the date that we put in for their follow-up. And you can select one of those records and it'll come up here. These numbers at the end of their student ID is essentially the record that's created for that student, and it's kind of a back end thing. So it takes the time that that record was created and creates this number. And that's because a student could potentially have a behavior goal, an academic goal, or an attendance goal, and we didn't want the one goal to overwrite the other. So we had to figure out a way to make sure that those goals did not get overwritten. And then you'll see here in the records, again, you have an option to mute your reminders, but you'll see if their goal was provided, what their intervention was, when their progress was due. And then again, that update, update, new progress, do they need another follow-up? If you click no, then you just submit and it closes the case. If you click yes, you are required to put in that next date, and then you would hit submit that update. As I mentioned, when you do that, you actually get an automatic email. So you'll see here, the one that I just created sends me an automatic email, and anybody else on the team will also get this email. So action items for the owner, what are the pieces? And then I can click this button to create that Google invite, and it'll tell me the student and what is their goal and what are the steps to make that goal happen. And you can click save, and then this will automatically save on your personal calendar. So both the person who has the step and or the administrator who is overseeing that team has the option to put this on their calendar. Actually, anybody on the team, but typically we are going to recommend that it would be one of those two people. And then, as you can see, my calendar there. And then you'll see here those emails that are kind of intervention reminder, the step approaching, right? And again, adding it to your calendar, what that goal is, and it's just really giving you another opportunity to keep this visible without being super intrusive or having someone come up to be like, hey, did you do the thing before the meeting comes up? So it's a nice quick reminder. They send at about 6 a.m. So as soon as you log in for first thing in the morning, you can see this.